Well, hi there and welcome back to the show, everybody. Today is Friday, February 25th, 2022. This is episode number 293 of the All Around Growth Podcast, a show that provides insight and tools so that we can build the lives and homesteads of our dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser and I am your host. Today we are going to be talking about personal and business email clients, calendars, and task managers. And the reason that we are diving into this topic today is because I was looking through my own task manager of choice, or the one that I've used for the past almost 10 years now, Nozbe. But I'm looking to either eliminate the task manager or just simplify, and but that, this is kind of another. So I'm looking for a show topic this morning in my task manager, Nozbe. I was kind of putzing around looking at a couple different things, and I've been reluctant to install new software on my new machine, in large part because I've been considering Nozbe works quite well out of the web browser. There's no need for it, and I'm debating on, pulling the cord on it or easing my way out of it. And little side note, I would like to give a shout out to Jack Spirko and the TSP community, the Survival Podcast community. It is with great pride that I am able to announce that I now have access to and have reclaimed the email associated with my business, the business that I or that I once decided to let go dormant, the business that I almost took action to shut down, the business whose domain name I actually let expire at one point, that I considered a complete failure and had simply written all of it off. Not quite literally, but figuratively. My attorney said, don't do it. You might want to use it at some point. And he was right. I'm hesitating, guys, because there is a tremendous amount of ice out today, and the apron of the driveway has a slight slope, so I'd like to go as slow as possible down this, so that if I slide, I'm sliding as little as possible. Apparently I'm not Midwest enough. They didn't let my truck heat up for as long as I should have this morning, and subsequently had to scrape some ice off with some effort. Damn near had a 1/4 inch of ice on the windshield. It's wild out here, guys. So we'll see how the morning drive goes. Everything you're hearing is flaking ice off of my hood. All right, so let's just dive right into this, because I was rambling on a story about task managers, and somebody from the TSP community helped me regain email access to Rob at Deliberate Living Systems. So the way that this podcast is probably going to be hosted will be through Buzzsprout, but will likely be robkaiser.me/allaroundgrowth. I don't know. Likely Deliberate Living Systems will be its own entity. No podcast associated with it, but maybe some sponsorship at some point down the road. Who knows? I'm thinking big picture. Right now, this is just minutia. So, in the talk about email clients and things like this, what was suggested to me was Thunderbird or EM client. Okay, so just to experience what it was like to see my own email again, I installed Thunderbird last night. So what is Thunderbird? Mozilla Thunderbird is a free and open source cross-platform email client, personal information manager, news client, RSS, and chat client developed by the Mozilla Foundation. The project's strategy was originally modeled after that of Mozilla's Firefox web browser. That's from Wikipedia. Now, one of these chat clients is XMPP. What is XMPP, you ask? Let's continue. Extensionable Messaging and Presence Protocol is an open communication protocol designed for instant messaging, presence information, and contact list maintenance. Based on XML, it enables the near real-time exchange of structured data between two or more network entities. So why XMPP? Why am I interested in this? Why am I talking about this? Even though XMPP is more resistant to censorship and provides greater security than Telegram, the community of intelligent people there, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. So why XMPP? Can a 20-year-old overlooked technology make a comeback as a completely decentralized, free, and scalable technology for the growing masses of people who value freedom and privacy? Ramiro Romani thinks it can. And I've linked to a 3,000-word article and 40-minute video that Take Back Our Tech with Ramiro Romani has put together. And he shows you how to use XMPP directly for everyday communications. I've linked to all of that in the show notes. So why did I decide to use Thunderbird instead of EM Client? Well, basically it was just to get something done fast. He was able to walk me through it real quick. And after a brief amount of research, I just decided to install Thunderbird and see my email for the first time in years. So in the process, I did a little bit of research and searched for Thunderbird Task Manager add-on because of the fact that Thunderbird is open source. There's a lot of add-ons. People have done what they want to do with it repeatedly, and it's easy to use, and there's a great community, and it's free. So there's a link to the top 5 task managers for Mozilla Thunderbird in the show notes as well. And I'll just rattle those off real quick. One is Lightning, which looks pretty slick. It's a calendar integration app, and it can give Mozilla the task management and scheduling tools that it lacks. Another one is To Do. Another one is Remember the Milk. Another one is Tasks and Mails, which kind of looks neat. And provider for the Google Calendar. One of the things that's happened is in my attempts to streamline over the years and use Nozbe, these programs are like software as a service packages, and I'm spending more money on them, and I want to use and am accustomed to Microsoft Outlook, but I'm reluctant to pay for it and then down the road get to a point where I've become so embedded in it, much like I felt like I was with Apple's iCloud, that extracting myself from it becomes a painful process. So free and open source may be the way to go. I understand the risks associated with that as well, which is why we back up our files. But my secondary search was for Thunderbird for iOS, because at this point in time, I am still using an iPhone. I will not be once I get another phone, but for the time being, I am. So for the interim, next 12 to 24 months, I will be using an iPhone. And I will likely use these devices for quite some time. So within the next, for the next 5 years, I will be using iPhones, and I will certainly be using a MacBook. So there are some alternatives to Thunderbird for iPhone, because while it's available on Mac and Windows, it is not on iPhone. So we've got an article that shows us a number of links like Feedly, Microsoft Office Outlook, Spark, Blue Mail, Apple Mail, Google Tasks, Delta Chat, Spike, Type App, Airmail, and there's more alternatives, and there's more things that you can read about in the show notes. But at this point, I think Thunderbird is going to be the platform that I use. I'm not 100% certain, but I do know that help from the TSP community motivated me to take action on the installation of this. And a big part of the reason why I hadn't done it is, well, I hadn't needed to. I've been able to maintain all of my email activity well enough through various web browsers, and granted, I feel like I'm dropping the ball on some things in life. I am trying to do more things in life in a more balanced way, instead of focusing all of my time, effort, and energy on my career. So this is going to involve a little bit more organization personally. And as Nozbe goes through some change and transition as well, I still think it's a great product. It's just they've changed. It's more oriented toward teams, and it may still be applicable to me. I'm not, again, I may continue to use Nozbe. I'm not sure. I am just simply looking at alternatives, especially those that are free and open source, and especially those that have the potentiality to integrate with Linux as well, because that is something that is of interest to me also. And what's noteworthy is that it was through the TSP community and also through this community. Shout out to Andy. What's up? Good on you for taking the strides that you are taking with learning the things that you are learning. It was you, brother, that motivated me to schedule some time this weekend after I get my article published to sit down, take that spare drive that I bought, load it up, and with the old desktop that I have, install some form of Linux. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you said you did Pop OS. I don't know. So if you're listening to this, jump on in the chat. And if you are listening to this and you're not Andy, also jump into the chat at t.me/allaroundgrowth, especially if you are experienced with Linux operating systems, and let me know what operate, let's see, what distro you're using, right? Whether it's Ubuntu or Mint or Pop or any of those. And correct me if I'm also not pronouncing some of those names right. I'm sort of new to some of this tech business, especially with Linux, and I am excited to learn a little bit more, less about the whole coding aspect of things and more about just the use and functionality. But I understand I may have to balance what I'm learning and learn a bit of both. But luckily, there are people out there who are happy and willing to help me learn in order to achieve the results that I want to achieve. So, shout out to Tom, shout out to Cass, shout out to Sean, shout out to PA Prepper, shout out to all the guys that have helped me do things that I simply couldn't do. Shout out to Kurt. What's up, brother? I hope that you listen to this. Many thanks again for all of the wisdom and guidance over the years and believing for me when I didn't believe in myself. So that's it for today's show, guys. We will see how things go with regard to the eventual installation and what I decide to go with in the long run regarding my personal email client, along with calendar and task manager integration. I'm hoping to just simply find something that works. So let me, again, check out the show notes for links to what was discussed. And if you've got suggestions on things, if you're a fellow nerd like me and like us in the group, by all means, chime in with your thoughts and ideas about what to use and what works, what doesn't, and why. t.me/allaroundgrowth, and whatever podcast player you are using to listen to this right now, check out the show notes for all sorts of links to things that were talked about today. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in today. We got a weekend ahead of us. I've got a short day ahead of me. I'll be returning to physical therapy down in Seville later today for a follow-up on that. And with the weekend ahead of us, we've got farmers market tomorrow, and because of canceled tunes on Wednesday, it looks like I will be playing some tunes on Sunday with my friend Linny. So I'm excited about that. So whatever you do, whatever you have planned for the weekend, make it a great weekend. All right, everybody, stay safe, stay free, and I look forward to seeing you next week. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.